4 big WWE stars in danger of missing out at WrestleMania. The WrestleMania 41 card is beginning to shape up, with Jey Uso officially choosing to challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship following his Royal Rumble victory. The Elimination Chamber will finalize some other big matches for the show of shows, as champions such as Cody, Rhodes, and Rhea Ripley await to see who will meet them at Mania. With the WWE roster being as stacked as it is currently, it will be difficult for some big stars to get the spotlight they deserve on the grandest stage of them all. Unfortunately, some wrestlers may have to settle for doing something minor on the show, or risk being off the card completely should they not find a compelling feud to have settled at WrestleMania. AJ Styles is a spare part. The phenomenal AJ Styles returned to WWE at the 2025 Royal Rumble after his latest injury that kept him out of action through the tail end of last year. Styles has been a fixture at almost every WrestleMania since he joined the company in 2016, only missing out on the event once during his tenure due to injury. As he approaches the half-century mark, it is reasonable to start thinking about how long the legend has as an in-ring talent, especially given all of his recent injury woes. The multiple-time world champion should be part of this year's WrestleMania in some fashion, but it is unclear to what extent that will be. He appears to be entering the Intercontinental title picture alongside the likes of Penta and Sheamus, who all wish to challenge Braun Breaker for his belt. AJ Styles will likely not be the one to face the nephew of his former TNA rival Scott Steiner at WrestleMania, as other contenders have a better chance of making it onto the card to challenge Breaker for the title. Bayley won't star at this WrestleMania. From winning the WWE Women's Championship at last year's WrestleMania to potentially sitting out this one, Bayley has been the biggest loose end in the division for the past few months. Her recent move to Raw does offer the chance of new matches, and she appears to be embroiled in a long-term feud with Roxanne Perez from NXT. For this reason, it is more likely that Bayley will appear on the big NXT show over WrestleMania weekend, as she could help Perez transition from being on the developmental brand to the main roster. This would not be such a bad idea for either woman, as it allows Bayley to do something meaningful for her younger opponent, who has already shown a lot of potential. Judgment Day is on the outs. There should be one thing planned for the members of Judgment Day heading into WrestleMania, which is to finally split the group up for good. The faction has had an unbelievable run on Raw over the past few years, especially considering how poor of a start to life that it got under Edge's leadership. It has allowed Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley to go on to do bigger and better things, which should be the case for Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and the rest of the group. The group peaked at WrestleMania 40 when Priest and Ripley exited the weekend as champions, which also allowed the dysfunction that invited Liv Morgan into the faction, extending its lifespan for a bit longer. This year's event could be the perfect place to finally have Judgment Day split, but there are not any other factions that could feud with them now that the Wyatt Six have moved over to SmackDown. Infighting is probably the best route to take now, allowing all the performers to do their own thing at WrestleMania and beyond. Bianca Belair should be a headliner. WWE has allowed the mini streak of great WrestleMania appearances by Bianca Belair to fall by the wayside, which is a big shame. From 2021 to 2023, the EST headlined in matches against Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Asuka, establishing herself as a modern-day WrestleMania mainstay, but this has subsided in recent years. At WrestleMania 40, Bianca competed in a trios match against Damage Control alongside Jade Cargill and Naomi, and will likely be in a tag team feud again heading into this year's event. It is a huge waste of her big match talents to have her not be competing in a singles match on the grandest stage of them all again this year. There is still potential for one of her tag team partners to turn on her, be it a returning Jade Cargill or a bitter Naomi, who has conveniently shuffled her way into the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship picture. A match between any combination of these women would be an interesting addition to the WrestleMania card, as Bianca Belair deserves to have another chance at glory at the showcase of the Immortals.